Hello everyone, this is Professor Sean Stewart. I'm recording the course syllabus that is uploaded in D2L. Remember, there's a copy of this syllabus always uploaded to D2L. All you have to do is go to the Content tab in D2L, and there is a folder marked Course Syllabus where a copy of this will always be available. But I want to go through it briefly just to highlight a few things in case you have any questions, as well as go over some online course myths that some people have when it comes to online class, just in case this is your first online class. First things first, this is my contact information. I am on the University Park campus. I do realize the way that Lone Star College has their online set up, you can be practically anywhere in the system and take an online instructor, and it doesn't mean that an online instructor is at the same campus that you take main classes at. So if you did not know, I am on the University Park campus. My office is 13802. That's my office phone number, but I ask that you, and I don't mean to be facetious or hilarious here, but I ask that you don't call me. And the reason I ask that you don't call me is because the chances of you getting a hold of me via phone call is very, very slim. The only time you'll really get a hold of me via phone call is during my posted office hours, which I didn't put on this syllabus because this is an online class. So for you all, your best bet is immediate response through D2L chat, or just send me an email in D2L. Speaking of, this is my email address that, this is my faculty email address right here. Don't use that. Instead, just use the email that's in D2L. I communicate with you through D2L, so that's the best bet for you to communicate with me. So just something to be aware of. As I said before, this class is primarily online. So when we get to this course, there's nothing that you have to do to come up to campus. Although I will say, in a bit of a surprise, I have had a few of my online students just come by my office just to say hi. The required course and text and materials is this textbook, Communicating at Work by Adler. It's McGraw-Hill. We are using Connect. So what that means is your textbook is online in Connect. You should not have a hard copy of a textbook unless that's something that you really, really need and really want. I will say, though, if you have a hard copy, you still need to go back and get the access card. And the reason is because your quizzes for this course will be online in Connect. There is a way to get to Connect through D2L that I have posted in the course in D2L. So when you go to the Content tab of D2L, you'll see a folder marked McGraw-Hill Connect. You click on that, and it takes you to the steps of getting into Connect. When it comes to this class, this is an online-only class. This is full online-only, and online does not mean you just look up and see the assignments and do your work. There has to be some participation. Why? Because we have to take the face-to-face class participation and put it in an online environment. I think a lot of students think, well, I'll take online because I don't have to participate, I don't have to talk with my classmates, and that's just simply not true. So here you are in an online class, and you will be mimicking or acting like this is a face-to-face class, and we do that through online discussion boards. So, as you'll see me announce throughout this entire recording, online does not mean work at your own pace. There are deadlines and of modules that you must meet, and I'm sure you've already seen the course calendar. When it comes to participating in an online class, it's important that you log into the system every day. And I always tell students, at least indulge me and log in every other day. But it's your responsibility to log in to see what your peers are posting and replying to those peers and replying to your classmates in order to meet your criteria for the discussion boards. However, if for some reason you know that you're not going to do that, you think that's something that you can't keep up with, and it's your responsibility to go to student services on any LSU campus and LSC campus and remove yourself and to drop yourself or withdraw yourself. When it comes to office hours and emails, this just basically says send me an email in D2L. That's your best bet. If you send me something over the weekend, it probably will not get answered until Monday. I do periodically check once every other, at least once every day or once every other day, especially if we're getting close to speeches. But typically, if you send something past 10 a.m. on a Friday, no response will be given until that Monday. With online classes, I started something a couple of semesters ago called Quick Hits, and for some chapters I'll record a quick hit. It's just essentially me going over information from that chapter in a quick form, in a quick formation. And typically I try to make those quick hits last no longer than 15 minutes. But some of them have been as short as 2 or 3 minutes because there's just something that I specifically want to go over. Keep in mind, there might be additional information in the quick hits that I discuss that isn't in your textbook, but you're still responsible for it. Quick hits aren't really optional. They're something that you should be for sure viewing. Not only that, with the quick hits, you should not just take that to be, this is all I need to do. Just listening to the quick hits isn't going to yield you a great grade in the course. So something to be aware of, and I will always I have a folder marked quick hits under the contents tab, and every time I upload a quick hit, and there's one quick hit per chapter, if I deem that there needs to be a quick hit for that chapter, and I will put the quick hit YouTube link in there. And I try to, sometimes I forget, but I try to email it out as well. Every assignment we do will be in D2L. You are not allowed to email me assignments unless I give you permission beforehand. There are no makeup exams offered in this class. It's your responsibility to log into Connect in D2L every day and make sure you're utilizing your D2L email. Do not email me from a Yahoo or a Hotmail or a Gmail address. The school provided you with an email address, and that's the one that I will personally utilize for you. Chain of command just basically means if there's some sort of issue that you have with me as a professor, the very first person you should talk to would be me. Let's say, for example, you have a retail job or you work at Starbucks or Chick-fil-A and you have some sort of issue with your supervisor or your manager. You're not supposed to go straight to the CEO of Chick-fil-A or Starbucks to discuss a situation that involves your manager. The first person you talk to is your manager. In that case, I'm the manager. So if there's some sort of situation, you and I will discuss it, and I promise you we'll figure it out, or I promise you I will have an answer. Sometimes people don't like that answer, and if we can't figure it out and there's still some sort of issue, then you will go to our department chair. His name is Dave Gare. His office is on the 8th floor of Building 13 at University Park as well. If you and he cannot figure it out, then you will go to the dean, Dr. Brandyberg, and have a talk with them. But if you bypass me and go straight to the department chair or go straight to the dean, I guarantee you 100% their very first question will be, have you talked to Professor Stewart? If that answers no, they will send you out of the office to come talk to me first. The basic need on this, and this is something that I have added to, this is very new. I've added this to my course. Essentially, it just means if there's some sort of need that you have, such as you're lacking food, especially in consideration of what we've just gone through with the hurricane. If you've lost food, if you don't have access to a lot of food, a lot of water, shelter, we've had students on campus, on all 6 campuses, who were living out of their cars, who did not have appropriate means in terms of shelter, things of that nature. What this means is if you are lacking something, please come see me or please come talk to me, or I can direct you to a place on any Lone Star College campus. We have access to that stuff to help you out. So don't be ashamed or don't be too prideful to not come forward. If there's something that you're lacking, let me know and we can go through there. Now, granted, it's got to be within reason. You can't just say, Mr. Sean, I need a brand new Mustang. The college isn't going to go buy you a brand new car. But for stuff like food, shelter, clothing, water, we have resources and we can direct you to certain places in order to get those provided to you. And campus carry, that's for online campuses, or that's for the face-to-face classes, not the online classes. If you look at the syllabus, I want you to just look at these frequently asked questions. It's about technical help, things of that nature, a few questions that students may have that will possibly that can be answered for you. A big part of this class is the discussion board. So the discussion board requirements, every module will have a discussion board. Each discussion board is worth 15 points. Your initial response, aka your very first post to the discussion board questions that I will pose, must be all total 500 words. It doesn't have to be 500 words for each question. So for example, let's say for the first module, which I know it's not uploaded yet, but we're going to get to that. For the first module, let's say I ask you 4 questions that need to be answered. 500 words of your response must be total for all 4 questions. That's minimum. You can definitely go above that if you need to. Also, going above 500 words shows you're putting a lot of thought and detail into your answer. The one thing I want you to keep in mind, I already have the questions. So if you are writing out the questions to help meet your 500 word minimum, then points will be deducted. The first post due date is the due date in which your first post to the discussion board questions must be posted. I give you enough time to do that and then give you enough time to reply to your peers in the class, to your classmates, for the entirety of the module. The whole point in me having a first post due date, and you're starting to see a lot more online instructors do this, the whole point in me doing a first post due date is to prevent you from answering the questions at 11:30 on the day that it's due. That is not fair to your classmates because your classmates aren't able to complete their portion of the assignment, which is reply to other classmates. Why couldn't they do that? Because nobody posts until the very last minute. So having a first post due date prevents that. And I'll be honest, I've started this about 1.5 years ago and it's worked really well. Students tend to like this because it allows them to complete their assignment, which is the discussion board. Speaking of, you do have to reply to 2 of your classmates, at least a minimum. You can reply to more if you want, but each reply must be a minimum of 150 words. If one reply is 150 words, but the second reply isn't, then you don't get any points, or you get a -3, okay? So something to be aware of when it comes to the discussion boards. These are just a few steps to developing a substantive message on discussion boards and etiquette. Assignments here pretty soon. You will have a base company and rationale. So this entire course is based around your base company. What a base company is this is a company that you are personally choosing, that you want to work for in the future, that you are currently working for and you want to move up, or it could be a company that you work for now because you may not know where you want to work in the future. A couple of examples of this. I've had students choose base companies of Amazon, Google, Exxon, Shell, things of that nature. But I've also had students choose base companies of small mom and pop shops that they work at. They've worked at this mom and pop shop for 20 years. They know the owners and they want to be their senior manager or possibly take over their business one day. So it doesn't have to be a large corporation, but that's what most students tend to stick towards because that's who they want to work for. But it can be if you want to work for Baker Botts, the big time law firm here in Houston that is internationally known. That could be your base company. So your base company rationale is whichever company you choose that you want to work for, and all you have to do is tell me why you want to do this. And every assignment we complete throughout this course is going to revolve around your base company. So what that means is you might want to put some thought into this. Let's say you do pick a mom and pop shop. Well, some mom and pop shops, some small businesses here in the Houston area or wherever you may live may not have a website, may not have recruiters, may not have senior managers, and those are some of the things that you need in order to complete some of the assignments. So take some time to think about this. That's why it's not due for a week or so, is because I want you to take some time to think about, well, who do I want to work for? What do I want to do? I've had a couple of students pick colleges and universities, law firms, Memorial Hermann, So it doesn't matter. There's a lot of companies, corporations, educational institutions that you can pick for your base company. And once you decide that, that is then going to help you do the rest of the assignment, such as the direct email memo, your resume, your cover letter, the informative speech, things of that nature. Speaking of the speech, this is probably where you have the most questions. You do have to have an audience for this speech. Dress is required for this speech. The audience must be consisted of a minimum of 5 adults. An adult, I'm not going to get into arguments and semantics over what an adult is, but they need to look at least 16 or older. Okay, I will classify a 16-year-old as an adult. But I'm not going to zoom into your video and decide who's an adult and who's not. That's not how I do it. As long as there's no kids, no children. But if there are kids in addition to the 5 adults, that's totally fine. As far as your presentation is concerned, you want to try to film this in a classroom-like setting. I realize not a lot of people may have access to that, so I'm going to get to something here in a bit. But if you can, I do accept your adult sitting around the dining room table and you being at the front. I've accepted that before. I've had students who set up their living room to look like almost like a theater, and then they sit into the they give their speech into the front. That's totally cool as well. I'm pretty flexible on this. However, filming it outside, filming it at the pool, filming it at the club, all of that does not work. Okay, so just use your best judgment, and if you have questions, just ask and we'll go from there. You're only submitting one shot. If you start talking and you say stop, let's start again, that does not count. That's qualified as a do-over, and then that will result in an automatic 0. Once you start, you got to keep going. So just a couple of hints about this video, about the recording. You can reserve areas to the LSC library, okay, and that's in there for this. If you want to try to make friends with 4 other people in this class, and you guys go up to a recording room at one of the libraries on any Lone Star College campus, and you all just sit there and record each other, that's totally cool, or with 5 other, rather. That's totally cool. I've never had anybody do that, but I put that out there because it's possible for you to do that. The best way for you to give me a recording is to upload the recording to YouTube and then upload the YouTube link to the Dropbox that will be put for your recording. The problem is students sometimes forget to take it off of private. And if it's on private and I can't view it, well, then that's a 0. Typically, I'll send you an email and give you 24 hours to take it off of private so that I can grade it. If you do not respond within that 24 hours, then your speech is a 0. Using video cameras that you have, keep in mind, I would argue that 90% of this country has access to video cameras. What I mean by that is your video camera on your phone, especially the iPhones, have improved significantly to where you can record stuff like this. So most of my students just use their phone to record. That's totally fine. I don't mind that at all. You'll be doing a Skype interview where you have to call in, or I call you to do the mock Skype interview. So if you don't have Skype, you might want to sign up for a Skype name right now so that you don't forget. You'll be doing a group project in this class as well. And before you say group project is not possible for an online class, my response to you is yes, yes it is. I will divide you into groups. You guys will be writing a 3 to 5 page paper over information regarding some sort of corporation or organization within the last 3 years that did something illegal or unethical and how it affected its employees, the public, and the organization. This is not as difficult as you think it is. It's all about delegation. It's all about time management, and it's all about multitasking. And you can do everything. One group that I thought their paper was really well, they did everything through Google Docs. So it's possible to do all of this. And I will be a little bit hands-on with this group project as well. 3 exams will be given out through the course of the semester. No exams can be made up. And no, you do not have to come to the campus to take the exam or the final exam at the testing center. You are totally allowed to take that at home. If you want to take it at the testing center, you need to give me at least 72 hours notice. 12 quizzes throughout the course of the semester. They are in Connect. The way the quizzes work in Connect is I upload a chapter and you start reading the chapter, and just randomly throughout certain parts, a question will pop up based on what you've just read, and you answer that question. That's why we are doing Connect with the access code, with the access card, and not the hard copy textbook. Class introductions, which it looks like most of you have done already. Late work is not accepted, and there could be potential extra credit opportunities throughout the semester. And then this is how it breaks down. I do a points-based class for 2 reasons. Number 1, all you have to do is add up your points at any portion throughout the semester, and you'll always know your grade. And number 2, most four-year universities do the point system, so it gets you acclimated to that in case you're looking to transfer. And then here is your updated calendar. Because of the hurricane, I had to update this 3 times. So I think we finally got it to where I want it to be. But I will be honest, if I need to expand and give you guys more time to do something, I'm totally cool with that. This isn't set in stone. That's basically what I'm saying. Okay? Plagiarism, essentially do not plagiarize. There are 3 ways you can plagiarize. In this class, you can steal someone else's work and not give them credit. Just completely turn in a paper that someone else wrote and pawn it off as your own. And the other way you could plagiarize is if you turn in work that you've already turned in to another class. Once you've turned in something and it's been assessed by an educational professional, then you can't turn that in ever again in the history of life. So just something to be aware of. These are all links to things dealing with the college, the university itself, including expectations, behaviors. There's a student code of conduct. You can read the ADA statement, campus safety, computer virus at your own. The last day to withdraw a course for a grade of W at any Lone Star College campus is November 13th. Remember, you are responsible for withdrawing your own self. That is not my job. We are all adults here, so something to be aware of. But I will say this. If you come into a situation, I'm only speaking of my class, this business and professional class. If you come into a situation where you think, I'm going to drop that class because I'm not doing well, the first thing I ask you to do is come talk to me. Because typically students are overreacting. And I'll be honest with you, I would tell you, yes, you should drop, or no, you should stay into the class. I had a student a couple semesters ago. Her dad, in the middle of the semester, came down with leukemia. That's a situation where I looked at her and said, you need to drop the class and go be with your family. You don't want to drop the class if you're going to do well, because you want to save those drops. However, I'll be honest with you, a W looks better in your transcript than an F, especially if you're looking to transfer. And I think students have this idea that if they make an F in a class, they'll just retake it next semester, make an A, and the A will cancel out the F. That's not how that works. The F is always on your transcript, forever, for the rest of your life. And that 0.00 will be factored into your GPA forever for the rest of your life. So just something to be aware of. FERPA, this is a statement that you need to read here. This right here, FERPA. When it comes to FERPA, essentially what that means is I can only talk to you about your grades. I cannot talk to your parents. I can't talk to your mom, your dad, your abuela. I can only talk to you about your grades. Internet access, software piracy, evaluation of instruction, and then Lone Star College, specifically University Park campus, we have all of these tools at your disposal. We have a writing center, a tutoring center, a counseling service, technology labs, hotspots for the math department. Biology has all these new and neat things. So we have everything that you need to succeed. The question is, are you going to utilize them? And then finally, the syllabus caveat, which just basically means I own the syllabus, no one else does, so I can make changes to it whenever I want. And I will be honest, I only make changes if it benefits you. Okay, I will never make a change that gives you less time to do something. So that's the syllabus in a nutshell of what we're doing in this class. Now I want to go through a couple of myths of online classes. When it comes to online courses, some of the myths that you might personally have about online courses. Let's see if it fits in this box. The first myth is that this online means work at your own pace. That's not true. There are due dates for assignments, just like there are in a face-to-face class. Some student told me one time that he thought online classes meant he could just do everything at the end of the semester and not have to worry throughout the middle of the semester. And that was kind of shocking that he thought that. It's not a work at your own pace. There are due dates. There is less or more work in an online class. I hear and see this a lot. Students think that I give you more work in online than I would in face-to-face. And the response is, no, you guys actually do the same amount of work. You guys do the same assignments as face-to-face. The discussion boards may come off as a lot, but keep in mind, in a face-to-face class, I would be grading you on class participation. So it's essentially the same thing. Students probably make better grades in participation in my online class than they do in participation in my face-to-face class. So keep in mind, there's not less work and there's not more work in either class. They're the same amount of work. I don't have to communicate with anyone in an online class. That's not true. Discussion boards take the place of class interaction and class participation. That's the whole point of them. And finally, a myth that online is easier or online is harder. It's neither. Online classes are just delivered in a different channel, really. It's the exact same thing as a face-to-face. It's just delivered differently. So I don't want you to think that because you're in an online course, it means something over another, because that's not true. Once again, I am Professor Sean Stewart for your this business and professional speech class. I will be going on to the discussion boards to introduce myself and to reply to your introductions. So look for those. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me.